again for baseball, which I had failed at so many times in the past. And I thought, man, I weigh 250 pounds now. I've had 9 surgeries. I've not worked out in years, and you guys want me to try out. This is ridiculous. But I took the bet, and I promised the kids that I would do it if they won. And knowing that on my side of it, it would probably be embarrassing and humiliating and everything else that goes along with that. But as it turns out, they won. They were right. I went out and I threw harder than I've ever thrown in my life with control. And my kids could hit because of the batting practice I was throwing. Myself and go home, and she wouldn't be the wiser. I think when I pulled up to the parking lot and I saw how in shape the younger kids were and how young they were, and they had parents with them, and I was the parents' age, and I thought, what have I done? You know, my kids are 8, 4, and 1 at the time. And so it was just, that was my shocking moment.
Were you focused on the mound?
You know, I was there to prove a point. Either I could or I couldn't pitch. And I wanted to get it over with. I'm not going to joke about that. But at the same time, I don't want to embarrass myself any more than I had to. So I took it seriously when I got out there. And, you know, the first pitch I threw was a strike. You know, when you're old, you're like, hey, I threw a strike. At least I got it over the plate. You look behind the screen, and the scout is shaking his radar gun. I thought, I don't even throw hard enough to register. Are you kidding me? And it just kept going on and on. I just thought, this is embarrassing. You know, my kid, my 1-year-old's crying, been in the sun all day. All these young guys are watching this old guy out here trying to throw. They're all 19, 20 years old, and I thought, this is not good. But it ended up being really good.
You threw 98?
Threw 98 consecutively. And, you know, my first thought was, I've been throwing 98 miles an hour at high school kids. I'm going to get sued. I thought, you know, at the beginning of the season, before we made the bet, the kids couldn't hit me. And at the end of the season, they're beating me all over the park. And I thought, I can't even get high school kids out. I'm going to go to a major league tryout. Are you kidding me? Then I found out they were actually hitting major league speed. And I thought, that may be why we hit 400 as a team. In the majors for 2 years. I came back for a 3rd year with the Dodgers. And about halfway through spring training, my son, 10, had seen me play baseball, write a book, do movie script, and hire the actors for it with Disney. And so I was gone. So at 10, he called me during spring training and said, how long are you going to be gone? And I left an hour later. We had this relationship where we could lean on each other. And if I didn't like something, he made sure that it wasn't in the film. And we tried to keep it as true as possible. The Religious Broadcasters Conference, we had another screening, and the movie was completely finished. It was 2 hours long. It was in color. The music was in it. It was at that point I had to stop crying before I could go up and talk. I mean, it was that good and that true, and Dennis just did a great job.
Wow. Kind of strange seeing that, I guess.
It was bizarre, and there are times now, even at the premiere in New York, I got up and went to the restroom like 4 times, even though I didn't have to go because it was hard for me to sit and watch that. You know, the story was never about me. It was about a group of high school kids I was trying to help. And I talk about the things I've learned along the paths I've taken and the decisions I've made and the repercussions thereof, whether positive or negative, and how they affect our lives. And I use my grandfather as a mentor in my life. He taught me how to treat people, how to look people in the eye, shake their hands, open doors for females, and how to treat them on dates. He made me take my grandmother on lunch dates so I would know how to treat them when I finally got married. And he taught me more in 3 years than my dad did my entire life.